Okay, imagine this. You step outside, and it is negative 15 degrees Celsius.
Freezing.
Absolutely freezing. And the only way you can get warm is to go sit in a hot spring outside completely naked.
A pretty wild scenario.
And here's the twist. You're a monkey.
And that monkey is the Japanese macaque. And right away, you're up against the sheer improbability of its existence.
Right.
This is the world's northernmost non-human primate. It lives in places that would kill almost any other monkey on the planet.
So today, we're diving into a whole stack of fascinating sources to unpack this. We're looking at how these macaques survive in that extreme environment, their really intense social politics, and of course,
The spa.
the surprisingly modern, almost luxurious adaptation that has made them famous all over the world. Our mission is to get the full story, how they develop the biological armor to survive, and then the cultural intelligence to exploit this geothermal loophole.
And to really get it, you have to set the scene. I mean, you have to appreciate just how extreme it is.
They're called snow monkeys for a reason, I take it.
Exactly. They live high up in these subalpine regions across 3 of Japan's main islands: Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu, sometimes at altitudes over 1,500 meters.
Wow. That's a serious climate challenge. We know most primates, they really struggle once the temperature drops below 5 degrees Celsius.
They do. And the macaque isn't just surviving, it's thriving
Yeah.
in sustained sub-zero conditions that can bottom out at negative 15.
That's a 20-degree difference.
It is. And that's the difference between, life and immediate extinction for most of their primate cousins.
Okay, so let's unpack the biological toolkit. What is the fundamental gear they have that lets them just shrug off a freeze that would paralyze other primates?
It really starts with the insulation. That's the main thing.
Their coat?
Their long, dense, gray-brown coat. It is the ultimate adaptation. It's actually a 2-layered system that grows exceptionally thick in winter. It becomes this biological armor.
And it just traps their body heat.
Right against the skin, yeah.
Yeah. I found it really interesting that the sources pointed out a physical difference based on where they live. Macaques in these colder areas tend to be heavier than the ones in the south. Why does that extra weight matter so much for staying warm?
Well, it's a matter of thermal inertia. A larger body, combined with that thick coat, has a better surface area to volume ratio.
Okay.
So it helps them hold on to their core body temperature much more effectively. They're a perfect example of Bergmann's rule in action.
The principle that animals in colder climates are generally larger.
Exactly.
Beyond the fur, their look is so distinctive. They have these naked, pinkish-red faces, sometimes with a long beard that gives them this, this strangely human-like appearance.
And that pinkish-red color is a huge biological signal. It's on the face, and it's also on their rump.
Right.
And it's not just for show. The size, the vibrancy of that red patch, it's all driven by hormones. It signals everything from reproductive readiness to social rank and even overall health. The monkey's body is basically broadcasting its status to the whole troop.
And you look at their hands, and you can't help but think about our own. They're old world monkeys, so they have opposable thumbs, just like we do.
And the sources say their hands are virtually identical to human hands.
Incredible.
It is. That shared kinship is profound. I mean, we share about 90% of our DNA with them. They have the intelligence and the dexterity to manipulate their world in ways we usually only associate with ourselves.
And that connection, that intelligence, makes the next part of their story so compelling. So here's where it gets really interesting, because even with all that amazing biological insulation and huddling together for warmth, a Japanese winter still takes a huge toll on their energy.
A massive toll.
So how did this group of wild primates go from just being tough survivalists to, dedicated spa enthusiasts?
Well, this specific behavior is a very, very recent cultural adaptation. It only started in the 1960s up in the Nagano Mountains.
That recent?
Oh, yeah. And it all revolved around a local hot spring that was heated geothermally by a volcano nearby.
So tell us the origin story. The very first snow monkey spa day.
It started with one young macaque.
A pioneer.
A pioneer, yeah. Probably just out of curiosity or maybe looking for warmth, who took what was likely an accidental dip in the local onsen, the hot spring bath, at a nearby mostel.
And I'm guessing it realized pretty quickly how good that warm water felt.
Instantly. And as you'd expect with a species that learns by watching.
Once one monkey does something cool, everyone else wants to try it.
Absolutely. This is social learning happening in real time. Other members of the troop, probably its close relatives first, they started to imitate the behavior. Maybe they were even watching the humans who used the spa.
It's an amazing example of cultural transmission.
It is a behavior passed down not by genetics, but just by watching and learning.
I have to imagine, though, the local human community got tired of sharing their relaxing bath with a few dozen wild macaques pretty quickly.
They did. You can imagine. The sources say that the local people became, understandably annoyed.
Hygiene concerns, I'm sure.
That was the main thing. Sharing bathwater with a growing troop of primates. It turned into a real conflict for the town.
So what did they do? Did they try to scare them off?
No, and this is what's so amazing about this story. The solution was maybe one of the most compassionate and just plain practical examples of human-wildlife intervention you'll find.
Okay.
Instead of driving them off, the locals basically accepted this new habit and, quite kindly, built the macaques their own private hot springs right nearby.
They built them a monkey spa. That's fantastic.
A bespoke sanctuary.
Yeah.
All to solve this interspecies conflict.
Just so cool.
And now, decades later, that single act has cemented the behavior. The troops bathe daily, especially the females and the young. They use it to warm up, socialize, groom, bond,
And just relax.
and relax.
Yeah.
Crucially, studies have shown it actually reduces their stress hormones, and most importantly, it helps them conserve the enormous amount of energy they'd otherwise burn just trying to stay warm.
So it's not a luxury at all.
Not at all. It's a key survival strategy now. Highly intelligent energy management.
Speaking of high-stakes management, let's talk about the complex social hierarchy that runs their lives.
It's incredibly nuanced. Their troops can range from a few dozen monkeys all the way up to several hundred.
And they're all ruled by a strict chain of command.
Very strict.
Yeah.
Led by one dominant male.
So what's in it for him, and what are his duties?
The main benefit is he gets almost exclusive mating rights. But with that comes this heavy, heavy burden of responsibility. He's the protector. He decides where the troop moves, where they'll forage.
And he's got to deal with constant challenges.
Constantly. From ambitious younger males inside the troop, and from rival troops and predators on the outside, it's a tough job.
So how is rank decided in this system? Is it just about who's the strongest?
Not quite, and this is where macaque politics get really complex. For the males, rank is mostly determined by age.
Mostly.
Yeah, though you need constant displays of aggression to keep that spot. But for females, it's different. Status is often inherited directly from their mother.
So it's not about strength, it's about who your family is.
Exactly. It's a pretty powerful system of inherited privilege.
Can anyone ever break out of that? Move up the ladder?
It's rare. But yes, the sources do mention that a particularly clever or aggressive monkey can sometimes defy those norms and climb the social ladder.
And what happens then?
When that happens, they often pull their whole immediate family up with them. It shows that social mobility is possible, even if it's really, really difficult.
That social structure connects right back to their survival skills. We know females raise the young, and one skill grooming seems vital for both social bonding and just surviving the cold.
Oh, grooming is fundamental on so many levels.
Socially, it's currency.
It's a primary social skill. It dictates who you bond with, how you fit in. But practically, it removes parasites, and crucially in the winter, it keeps the coat clean and properly lofted.
Improving its insulation.
Exactly. A bad groom could literally mean the difference between being comfortable and getting hypothermia.
And their physical skills are incredible. They're semi-terrestrial, so they're on the ground and in the trees, and they move through that snowy terrain with amazing agility.
Parkour-like, almost. And that dexterity with those human-like hands is also critical for their diet.
They're omnivores, right?
Right. They'll eat fruits, seeds, leaves. But in the winter, when all that is buried or gone, their intelligence really kicks in.
How do they forage in the deep snow?
Well, their opposable thumbs let them carefully, patiently rummage through the snow for things like insects, crabs, maybe some eggs.
And when it gets really bad?
When everything else is gone, they fall back on eating tree bark, buds, scavenged fungi. Just incredible resilience.
And we can't forget about their most famous intelligent habit, the food washing.
Right. Just like raccoons and, us. They often wash their food before they eat it. It shows a real level of problem solving.
They're also really organized foragers.
They are. They have these huge cheek pouches that let them store food while they keep looking. It makes their foraging trips much more efficient and, cuts down their time out in the cold.
Okay, let's pivot to the high-stakes game of reproduction. The competition sounds fierce.
It is. Mating season runs for about 4 or 5 months, usually during the coldest part of the year, from September to April.
And the females are picky.
Very selective. They almost always choose their mates based on, you guessed it, rank and dominance.
So when fights break out over females, what happens?
It often starts with just a screaming match. A lot of posturing to see who will back down without a real fight.
But sometimes it escalates.
It does. And if it turns physical, their large canine teeth, their fangs are the main weapon, and they can be lethal. In the peak of mating season, those fights can be brutal.
But after all that intensity, there's new life, a 6-month gestation, and then a single baby is born.
And that baby requires a huge commitment. It's totally dependent on its mother, clinging to her, literally riding on her back for the first 2 years of its life.
2 years, while she's navigating that treacherous, cold environment.
It's an incredibly long and vulnerable period for both of them. It really raises the stakes for the whole troop.
And for young males, the challenge doesn't stop there.
No. Once they're weaned, they're often forced out of their birth troop.
Yeah.
They might spend years as nomads, trying to survive long enough to challenge a dominant male in a new group.
So what does this all mean? We have this incredible story of adaptation, both biological and cultural. They're a protected species, their population is strong, but they're facing a very harsh modern reality.
That's the crucial final piece of the puzzle. Despite being protected, farmers in Japan kill thousands of these monkeys every year.
And this isn't malice, it's a conflict.
It's a conflict driven by the monkeys moving closer and closer to human settlements. They raid farms for crops, sometimes impacting livestock.
And the sources are clear that this is a direct result of habitat loss.
It is. As deforestation happens and towns expand, the snow monkeys get pushed into smaller and smaller ranges. That forces them into these confrontations with agriculture just to find enough food to survive.
So they adapt to the cold, they adapt to using a spa, but adapting to rapidly shrinking territory. That's their biggest challenge now.
They are creatures defined by layers of resilience. They have the biological armor, these complex social rules, and this accidental cultural innovation. They learn not just to survive their environment, but how to relax in it.
So what does this all mean? Given that the Japanese macaques picked up the hot spring habit by watching humans, you have to wonder what else they're capable of integrating. What other human behaviors beyond just bathing might they be observing and learning and absorbing into their already complex world if they get the chance? It really makes you reflect on how similar our intelligence and our need for a little stress relief truly is.